I put up a poll in my stories today, and it was overwhelming, the amount of people that are having a hard time with mature lids, application techniques, and you're struggling. So we're gonna do an eyeshadow live today, and it is literally for mature skin. If you have movable skin on the eyelids, if your skin is getting, more textured, if it's more movable, like if you are having a hard time, this live is gonna be for you. I'm gonna get right into it. My name is Lauren. I am almost 45, I'll be 45 in a week and a half. And I will be honest with you, my eyes have changed, my lids have changed. Everything's a little bit looser. And you have to change your application technique for that. So save this video, come back to it. I am also gonna put it on my YouTube channel. So if you're not following me on my YouTube channel, go make sure you're doing that over there. It's the exact same handle as my Instagram, TikTok, things like that. If you're someone who doesn't like, I will put this on my main page too, but if you don't like to have to watch the whole thing and you want a quick replay, YouTube is a lot easier. I'm also gonna link everything that I'm talking about today. You can comment yes at any time and get everything to your inbox. And let's just get right into it. So, like I said, I am almost 45 years old. As we age, our lids, the texture of the lids, no matter what you're doing, unless you're doing something surgical, is going to get a lot more loose. You're gonna get a lot more problems with texture, maybe some more hood, because this part of gravity's dropping things. This is getting a little bit heavier. So the way you used to do your eyeshadow might not work anymore. So I'm gonna break down everything for you today. So this might be a little bit of a longer live, and I hope it's gonna be informational, because I know a lot of you are struggling. And I felt like this is the easiest way to do it. So we're gonna start with the first thing, which is when you are putting on your eyeshadow. If you want your eyeshadow to stay, you don't want it to smudge, you want your eyeshadow to look really nice on the lids, I definitely recommend priming the lids. Now, if you're someone who doesn't want to go buy an extra product, that's fine. I personally like a primer, but you could use your foundation or your concealer, but you want to use a very small amount, because you don't want to make the eyelids look heavy. You don't want to make them look more textured. So that's why I like an eyeshadow primer, because for me, it's very light on the skin. So I'm going to start with this one. This is the Thrive one, but you can go, there's Benefit, Milani, e.l.f. There's a lot of different eyeshadow primers. You want to get one that's going to match your skin tone pretty well, or maybe a little bit lighter. You can see the reason we're going to start with that is there's discoloration on the lids. Everyone has it. And so what we want to do is we want to just start by kind of color correcting that. And also what's going to happen with this is it's going to help grip the eyeshadow onto the lid. And then I like to just use my finger to kind of smear it out, but it's going to grip the eyeshadow to the lid. And already you're gonna have longer wearing eyeshadow. So if you're wearing your eyeshadow, you find that it's coming off throughout the day, this is a step I definitely recommend. I like Thrive, it's a clean product. For me, it holds my eyeshadow on, but play around, because everybody's different, right? A lot of the things that I'm gonna suggest today work for me, but try it out. It might work for you, they might not. And that's the beauty of makeup. We can try a lot of different things. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm not done. I'm going to actually go on top with a loose powder. Now I don't like a pressed powder for this reason, because I feel like it doesn't work as well. This is the one from Celeste. Once again, you can use anything, okay? You can comment yes too, and I'm gonna send everything I'm using for this live, so it makes it really easy. You don't have to take notes or anything. We're gonna put powder on here, because what that's gonna do is it's going to set the primer, and it's also gonna give you a really nice base for your eyeshadow to go onto, okay? I'm gonna use a fluffy brush for this one, and I'm just gonna put a tiny amount on here. I like to put it in the cap, and then I like to kind of swirl it into the cap and then tap off. So I'm not going on with a lot of product, but the reason I like this powder is it blurs, and it's a finishing powder. Look, when I'm doing this, do you see my loose skin? I have loose skin on my eyes. So I want you to know that I do understand texture, I do understand loose skin and how to work with it. Now, we're gonna talk about what I'm doing right now. See how I'm moving my skin all over when I'm doing this? Right now, I don't care, because it's a finishing powder. It's a powder that we're just putting all over from the lid to the brow. But when I put on my eyeshadow, I don't want my eyes to move like that because I'm gonna get a lot of skipping. So we're gonna talk about that as well. And if you guys have any questions throughout, please drop them down. If you're struggling with something with eyeshadow, I definitely am trying to watch the comments at the same time. But for time's sake, I'm really trying hard to just really stay on topic. So, okay, we've got our eyes primed and we've got the powder on. So right away, my eyeshadow is going to stay better, and it's also going to look a lot more smooth on the lid. So that if you have not tried that step, try that if you're getting a lot of skipping. That's going to help a lot. Next thing, we're going to talk about brushes, because brushes, when you have more mature lids, matter. If you have hooded eyes, you don't want to use something really large and fluffy. This one's a great size, but we don't want to use anything larger than that if you have hooded eyes. The reason being is you already have less lid space, so you're kind of working with something like this. And if you take a really fluffy, huge brush that's too big for your eye, you're going to have a lot of skipping. It's going to just kind of like make it not look blended. And so you want to look for something a little smaller. You do want to have a fluffy brush. When I'm doing eyeshadow, I am going to grab 2 fluffy brushes. One is going to be my clean brush, one is the one I'm going to use. And I'm going to go back in with these 2 throughout to get a really nice blended look. So if you're struggling with blending, 2 eyeshadow brushes that are fluffy. It can be any brand. These are from Saint. You guys know I love Saint. You also want to have a brush that kind of looks like this, okay? It's more of a smudge brush. This one has more dense end on both sides, and we're going to use, I don't know which end we're going to use, but we're going to use one or the 2. And it's going to be dense because we want to pack on the product without it smudging. So if you have something, if you go in and, I'm just going to clean this while I talk to you. If you have your eyeshadow skipping, because I've been getting a lot of messages from you guys saying that your eyeshadow is skipping because you're fighting the loose texture on the lid, using a more dense brush is going to be really, really important. So you want to make sure you at least have those 3 brushes in your arsenal. There are so many brushes you can use. Amazon, I have a bunch linked on there as well. But you just want to have kind of that combo because that's going to give you the most blended, smooth look when you're doing this, okay? All right, next thing I want to talk about before I even start putting anything on the eyelids, okay? I want to talk about the difference between creams and powders. So if you're someone who has a lot of texture on the lids and you're fighting it, creams might be a really good option for you. So there's lots of cream sticks on the market. I'm just going to show you a couple that I have here. Okay, so I've got Nude Sticks, I've got Thrive, I've got L'Oreal, I've got Saint, okay? And one thing I would look for if you're going to move to a more cream eyeshadow is that it's really creamy. See how easily that just went straight onto my wrist? You want to look for something that's creamy and that's going to blend out really nicely when you go to put it on, because it's going to, this one's one that won't budge, which is really nice, but also it's going to go on and you're not going to fight the skin. There's a lot of cream sticks that are really great, but they can be kind of mattifying, and so they dry down really fast. And then if you're trying to fight that with the loose skin already on our eye, you're gonna get a lot of skipping. It's not gonna look blended. It's gonna look very patchy. Someone asked, how do you keep such a smooth under eye? So I love Korean skincare. I also use Rock, which is an under eye cream, and eye patches from Patchology. I love those. I swear by those. So yeah, there you go. All right. Okay, so those are kind of the difference. So you want to kind of think about that. There's also some really good, I don't know if I brought them out. Oh, I didn't. But even like little pots that are cream are really great because you can apply them and press them onto the lid with your finger. And you could have a great eye look with one look, okay? So cream eyeshadows, they're great. They're wonderful. Sticks are great. You have more control. You can really place them where you want to place them. So things like that. Hints for under eye puffiness. You guys are wanting a lot about that. Okay. I love Patchology eye patches. I swear by those. They are really good for depuffing. Also, I do a lot of water in the morning. That helps a lot. And then I love my Rock eye cream. I can try to link that, but you'd have to comment when I post this because I don't have it linked with the other stuff. But those are kind of like what I've been using and they work really well. So, okay. Oh, and NYX. NYX has another really good, it's a nice affordable one. They have lots of colors in this one too. It's a little bit bigger, so that's a problem. Yes, I will, when I post this, I will go ahead and put my skincare in with everything else. But if you comment yes, you'll only get the eyeshadows right now. Does red light help? Yeah, I use lasers on my face a lot, at-home lasers. I have a red light mask I use. I have a red light wand I use. I try all different things all the time. I'm really not as consistent as I should be, but yes, red light is amazing. Red light, there's so many benefits to red light. In fact, I have a huge red light that we put in our in our bathroom at night, and so like it turns it into like this red light sauna. And so yeah, we swear by red light at our house as well. Okay, getting off topic, which happens a lot. Okay, we're gonna go ahead, and I love Saint. You guys know this. But for demonstration benefits, I can build you a Saint palette at any time with eyeshadows, okay? But for just demonstration purposes, I want to show you this. So we're just going to use this one. This is the Makeup by Mario eyeshadow palette. I want to show you an eyeshadow palette. The reason being is when you buy an eyeshadow palette, the nice thing about it is that you have multiple colors that are in the same family. Okay, so if you're someone who's like, I don't know what colors to put together, I'm so like, I look at eyeshadow colors and I literally right away give up. An eyeshadow palette's gonna be great because you've got some light colors, you've got medium, and then you've got the dark tones. When you're doing an eyeshadow look, I would literally go with 3 colors, especially if you're brand new. 2 is fine too, but I'm gonna do 3 for like demonstration purposes today. So I'm gonna use one of these light colors. we're gonna do this one for my light color. And then we're going to go with this one as my dark color, or my medium color. And then I'm going to go with probably this one for my dark color. So you want to have 3. Now it works like this with any color. So if you're like someone who likes more color, you just have to have a light, a medium, and a dark shade, okay? And when you look at my eyes, I don't have a lot of lid space. I used to have very deep set eyes, but honestly, they're getting a lot more hooded as I'm getting older. So for me even, it's reworking what I used to do with my eyeshadow. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to go in with that. Actually, I think I'm gonna go in with this color. I think I said that wrong. We're gonna do this color with my eyeshadow brush. It is clean, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of eyeshadow on here. I'm gonna use powder because most of you have that, and I wanna show you how easy it is. Now, with this one, you don't have to be super concerned about smudging or skipping. We're just going to apply that all over the lid. Now, one thing I should stop. When you hold your eyeshadow brush, we wanna hold it down here. Okay, it's gonna give you more control. If you're holding it here, you're holding it so tight, you're pressing too hard on the lid, and you're gonna pack the color on, and it's gonna look very splotchy. So we wanna hold it down low. What brush cleaner do I recommend? I love Saint's brush cleaner. It's my favorite. They also have a brush soap. Those are the 2 I use. Love them. Okay, and my link is in my profile if you wanna look through that or message me. Okay. So I'm gonna start, look, I'm gonna show you, I'm using small circular motions, but I also wanna show you that I have loose skin, but I'm not fighting it. I'm going in the direction that the skin naturally goes. So I'm not going this way and doing this windshield wiper motion. I'm starting with a little bit of product, starting right on the lid, and I'm making small circles, okay? And I'm just working it in to that area, and then I'm going to take a little bit more, and I'm actually gonna bring that all the way up to the brow bone, okay? But I want you to see that when I'm doing this, I'm not fighting the skin. I'm just using these small circles to really get a good, smooth base. And you wanna take time. This is the thing with eyeshadow. A lot of people want these really amazing eye looks, but if you're not taking the time for the blending process, you're never gonna get what you see online, okay? And so if you're just smacking your eyeshadow on, which is fine, I do that all the time, you're still not gonna get that look that you're wanting, okay? So I'm just building that base color and bringing it up. Now this has no shimmer at all. We have a lot of texture right here. So if you're putting shimmer on that area, it's gonna look textured, it's gonna look heavy, it's just, you're not gonna get what you want. So I definitely recommend really just bringing more of a matte shade there. I'm gonna do it on the other side, but you can see I keep going back and forth into my color, and then I tap off, and I get a little bit on, small circles. This one, to me, doesn't have as much loose skin. And I'm working in small areas. So that's another tip for you, okay? Work in small areas, and then bring it up under the brow. we're creating a base for our eyeshadow. Now this color that I'm using is one, it's called your transition shade. So you're gonna be going back into that throughout this process, because if you are getting patchy or you're getting a lot of smudging, we're gonna come back in, or skipping, we're gonna come back into that color, and it's gonna help really just make everything kind of mesh together, okay? Okay, next one. Now, when you start getting into this area of the eye, see that texture? We have the texture there. So, back in the day, and I probably am guilty of this, is saying go ahead and go back and forth with this fluffy brush. But look at the bristles of this brush. They're not close together. So when you go in with a little bit darker of color and you're just going back and forth like this, you're gonna get skipping. So what I suggest, if you have skipping, is take something like this, a smudge brush. Also, this one is from BK Beauty. It is the 207, it's a little smaller. We're gonna press the next color on. So when you move to your medium shade, we're going to just press, okay? And I like to take my chin and pull up. The reason I do that, see how my eyes are kind of like, they're smaller. That opens up the lid space and gives me a good idea of where I want to be. So moving your chin up is also a really good option. Now, when I place this color, I wanna be a little bit between the brow. I don't wanna be up to the brow, and I don't wanna be on my natural crease, because my natural crease, when I close my eyes, look at that, right? It pulls back into the head, and a lot of us with hooded eyes, you don't see the product anymore. So I like to kind of go in between. I don't really have an arch anymore, so going right under the arch where it would normally be is kind of where I start. And I'm gonna press this color. I'm not going to swipe back and forth with it just yet, okay? So I'm just pressing the color where I want it to be, and really just kind of get it there first. Okay, so it's gonna look kind of crazy, but this is the best way if you have issues with smudging or skipping, is pressing. You wanna press the eyeshadow in the beginning, so you really get it one where you want it. You can kind of make sure, especially if you have hooded eyes, you wanna make sure that it's going in the area that you can see it, but also you're gonna be pressing it, so you're gonna make sure that you're not gonna get that skipping. Okay, so here's my natural crease. I'm going a little bit higher. They don't have to be perfect, okay? It's totally fine. Once you have that, you're gonna go back in with that same eyeshadow brush you just used, okay, so the fluffy, holding it down low, and we're just going to start with small circles. And we're going to take our time to blend that, okay? And I'm gonna start by keeping the majority of the color on this outside, and then I'm going to bring it into the inner corner. I don't really want that dark color there, but I do want to make it look like it's all kind of mixed together. So we're just going to keep that high, and then when I get out here, I'm going to flick towards the tail of the brow, okay? And I'm just going to add a little bit of color onto my brush just to kind of get it so that I'm getting a nice blend. But once again, when you get up here, you're going to flick out, and it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? This does not have to be perfect. But you're gonna sit and work for a minute. Now, if you have a lot of loose skin, you can pull a little bit up. Don't be hard on your eye, but just a little bit. And that gets it out of the fold of the eye. See how I just did that? And like I said, if you guys can comment yes at any time, if you wanna know what I'm using, if you have any questions, just let me know. We're gonna kind of pull up towards the tail of the brow. Okay, now you can still see it looks like two colors. So I'm gonna go back in with that first color that I used, and we're gonna go right back on top. Now, with this method, you can make this as dark, as dimensional as you want, or as natural as you want. See how that's just blending out any rough edges? And once I've got that placed, I'm not having to worry about it smudging, because I've already put the color on and now I'm just blending it. You can see how that works, right? So same thing here, do this again. There's small movements, holding it down really low, and then I always keep the majority of the color in the outer corner of the eye, and then I work inward. And you can close your eye at this point too. You always hear if you have hooded eyes to keep them open. You can close your eyes at that point because you already have the color placed. And just these small circles, Pulling up a little bit if you're like, oh, it's in my crease and I can't get it out, or it looks smudgy. That just helps kind of like make the skin look a little more taut. And then you can go in with your transition colors, that first color we started with, and go right on top. And it really is just gonna blend everything out and get rid of any harsh lines. Okay, you could stop there if you wanted to. I also like to take it with a little bit of a smudge brush again, that second color I used, and I like to just bring it underneath the lash line and kind of smudge that all together. And that just brings a little definition to the eye. I will say a good eyeshadow blend is gonna take a minute. So if you're someone who wants a really fast eyeshadow look, using creams is gonna probably be your best friend, okay? So there you go. Now, if you were to do this step and you were getting skipping, I would go in with either the first brush I used, which is this one, or because Saint has double-ended sides, this is more dense, I would go in with that second color and I would press anywhere I have skipping and fill in any areas. So if that's a problem for you, that's a really easy thing to do. You just go in and press onto anywhere that you would have skipping. If you wanted to add more dimension, that's another way to do it, okay? So there we go. We could stop there, but we're not going to because I want to show you a couple things. Okay, now, if I want to add dimension to the eye, I want to add a little darker color to the outer corner of the eye, I'm going to go in with my third row. Okay, so that's this row. That's why I like eyeshadow palettes, because they just make it really easy. Like I said, I can build one for you from Saint, but it just makes it easy with this. What is skipping? So skipping on the eye is, if you ever look at people's eyeshadow, sometimes it's like, it looks a little like it's creasing on the eye, or when you go to blend it out, it doesn't look even. You see like patches, that's skipping on the eye. And that happens because we have texture on the eyes as we get a little bit older. Can I do, someone just asked me something. Can I do a cream eyeshadow live? Yeah, I can definitely even do that right now. I can show you how, I'm gonna actually show you how I do a cream on the eyes. But cream eyeshadow, it's gonna work the exact same thing I'm doing today. So with cream eyeshadow, I would probably take a color like this one, that like is a medium color. And I would take, let me see if I have one. Maybe something like this that's a little lighter, and I would pair those two together. This would go on the lids, which I can show you, and then this one would go right where we just put that medium color. So it's gonna work the same way, and you can use your finger too. Mix powders with the cream stick. Yeah, you can always mix powders with the cream stick, which I'll show you how I would put cream on the eyes, but you can do cream alone too. So I'll show you cream, because a lot of you guys are asking me about that. Okay, where was I? Oh, we're gonna add some dimension to the outer corner. Okay, so I'm gonna take this color right here. This is kind of a darker color. I don't wanna use this a lot, especially if you have hooded eyes. You wanna be very careful with dark colors. It's gonna close off the eye. So I like to start kind of on the outer corner right here, and I just kind of make like this little line. Oops, I did not get enough on my brush. Make a little line, just straight out. And I'm gonna leave it at that, okay? Like, we're not gonna do anything crazy. And then I'm gonna take my brush, and I'm going to blend that up and in. Majority of the color is only gonna stay on this outer corner. And make sure you're going above that natural crease. This is gonna give you some depth to the eye without it looking heavy. It's gonna keep everything kind of on that outer corner. Okay, so once you've kind of got that outline, you can go a little bit more, add a little bit more in. And you're just going to do that. Once again, if you have a problem with texture, just holding back. I'm just putting pressure here. I'm not pulling my eye. And you can even use like this dense brush. And you can see it just kind of gets right into that crease. Holding it tight and taut kind of. And then I just am pressing. I'm not even gonna do a lot of circling or anything like that, because what happens is we have like this outer corner can get very loose. Now you can see here, hopefully you can see, it's like a little patchy. So what I'm gonna do is go back into that first color, same thing, and we're just gonna place that right on top, and that's gonna give that nice blended look. See how that just kind of gives depth to the eye without it being overwhelming, okay? Problem with dark is if you have a lot of texture, it is gonna show a little more texture. So you just have to be kind of careful with that if that's a problem for you. But I just keep going in and tapping out that color until I get the depth that I want. And using this dense brush, especially if you have texture, and tapping it into the texture is going to be key with a good blend. Okay, so we'll do the other side again. So we're gonna start at the outer corner of the eye. Almost like you're doing eyeliner and pressing it in like that. Look, see how I'm getting that smudging. It's not, it looks a little skippy. It's not perfect. It's okay. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take this, just kind of press it in to where I want it to go. That's your first step. And we're not gonna worry about it being perfect because we're literally just trying to get it into the kind of creases of the eye, which is what happens as we age, okay? So just see how I'm going high, okay? Then I'm gonna take that smudge brush again, kind of work the product up over that medium color, and then I'm just going to press where I want that to go. So I'm not fighting the loose skin. So if you're fighting loose skin, this is gonna be really helpful. Then we're gonna go back in the transition shade, and now we're gonna work on blending. And we're just gonna keep blending and having patience until we get it where we want it to be. Okay? There we go. It's coming along. And I'm just going back into my transition shade. I'm not adding more color. I'm going into my transition shade to really smooth that out. Okay? This is more of like if I was going out, I really don't put a lot of eyeshadow on normally, but if I was going out and I wanted to add depth to the eye, this is how I would do it, okay? The smudge brush is gonna be your best friend, like literally, or the other side of this eyeshadow brush is gonna be your best friend because you're really gonna get the ability to press on the eye versus trying to, you know, get the perfect eye look by using a really fluffy brush. That doesn't work as well on mature skin, okay? All right, a lot of you are asking about eyeshadow sticks. So I'm gonna probably use, let's see, which one do I wanna use? We'll use this one. This is by Thrive. I like this one a lot. This is the color Nikki, and I'm gonna apply this. I'm gonna actually do, let's do two. Let me see which ones I grabbed. Okay, we're gonna do two. So I'm gonna show you how I would use the nude sticks and the Thrive, okay? So actually I'm gonna do powder on one side. Let's do powder on one side and cream on the other, okay? So we're gonna do cream on this side. I'm gonna just go like this and start working that onto the eye. And I'm gonna keep this just in the middle because this is kind of I don't know if you can see it. It's like a little bit more of a bronzy brown. And I'm gonna press. So I'm not sweeping this on the eye, and I'm also holding on to my eyebrow a little bit, pulling up, not much, so I can really get this on. And I'm kind of tapping. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. See my skin? I'm just tapping where I want this to go. Okay, and that's gonna open up the eye. Now, another really good one, I really like the formula and I don't have the right color, but I love the L'Oreal ones because they're so creamy. See how creamy that is? You can even put that one, like something like that on your hand. See how I did that? And then I just used my finger and I'm pressing. So if you find a really creamy eyeshadow stick, that works really well too. Is I'll show you it again. I just went like this on my hand, and then I just took a little bit on my finger and I press. I'm not fighting loose skin. I don't want to fight loose skin. If I fight loose skin, you're going to get a lot of texture and a lot of skipping. And then we want to use something a little lighter on the inner corner because we want to open up the eye. So I'm just going to kind of go in here and bring those two together. Hopefully this is making sense. Can we see that? Just like that. Okay, that's how I would do cream. It's easy. You can also, like I said, you can go right on your hand. Like you're writing on your hand, tap it on the finger. Just depends on the formula you have though. If you have a quick drying formula, when it comes to creams, it's not gonna be able to use, you're not gonna be able to do that. So just know whatever formula you use, you gotta know how to work with it that way. Okay, then I'm gonna show you on here how I would do powder. So I'm only gonna do it on the middle of the lid and then I'll lighten the inner corner. But I would use something that is like this, and I need to clean it. So let me just brush clean that really quick. Something flat, okay? So when you're applying shimmer, you don't wanna use something fluffy. It's gonna be streaky, it's not gonna look good. So something like this, that's flat, is gonna be really amazing, okay? And I like to use a micro shimmer. So something like this, it's not super shimmery. If you use something that's like bigger flecks of shimmer, what's gonna happen is it's going to like, one, you're gonna have a lot of fallout, but two, it's gonna increase the texture. So I like to do this. I just press that brush into the powder, okay? Then I'm going to take, oh, do I have it? I do. I'm gonna take a setting spray, spray it on there, okay? So spray that on there. And then I'm going to, and the reason I do that is it kind of makes it into a cream. And I'm going to, instead of fighting and going this way on the lid, I'm going to pull up a little bit and I'm going to go down on to the lid and I'm gonna press. And that way you're not fighting loose skin and you're gonna get a lot more of a smooth look. See how that works? And then if you wanted to, you could go in with a lighter color on the inner corner. I'm really big about going on a lighter color, so I probably will mix a couple shades. And you can just kind of right here, press that as well. And that will open up the eye. So this is how I do powder, this is how I do cream. Hopefully that helps. Okay, last thing that I wanna talk about, because a lot of people have a hard time with this, is eyeliner. So if you have mature lids, if you have hooded eyes, eyeliner can be a pain, can be a big pain. So I like to use a gel eyeliner if I'm going to use an eyeliner, and I like to make it really simple. I'm not going to go on top of the lid. It gets patchy, it gets smudging, it's a mess, okay? So what I like to do is I use a gel eyeliner, and I go in between the lashes. I'm not on the waterline. I don't want an eye infection, okay? So I'm literally, if I pull up my lashes, I'm going not on the white part. See that white part? I'm not going there. I'm going in between. I'm above the lashes. This one is one of my favorite eyeliners. I have a lot of favorites, but this one is for mature skin. It's called Revant. I also linked that. You can comment yes to see that one, and it's in the color brown, I believe. And I'm gonna really focus it on that outer corner. See how that's making the lash line, it looks thicker and it looks fuller. That's what I wanna go for versus, you can see on this side I don't have anything. So I'm just working there. Is there a specific color that I like brown. I also like black, but that's more if I'm like really going out somewhere. For everyday look, I like brown. And then you wanna really bring it in here. Okay, so that's the first step that I would totally do if I had hooded eyes, because you can already see how that depth, that just gave me a little bit of a depth to my eyeliner, or to my eyelashes versus this. I'm very light with my eyelashes, so I just am adding some extra depth, making them look thicker. And then I like to go right here. So right in, I like to follow the bottom lash line, and I'm just gonna make a baby wing. Now, if you have a lot of heaviness, if you have a lot of wrinkling here, this can be a little bit more difficult. So you could go on, I don't have one, but you can use like an eyeshadow brush and stamp. So if you have like more texture, wrinkles there, just use an eyeshadow or it's like a straight brush and stamp it there versus fighting it with an eyeliner. And I just kind of follow that to the like beginning of my eyeball. Like I'm not gonna go very far. Like to my iris. And then if you really want to get fancy, you can connect it just right there. That's all I'm going to do with my eyeliner, okay? Now, I'm going to show you one more trick. If you're someone who has hooded eyes and you can't even line your eyes at all, find a mascara that has a small brush, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to take it and press at the lash line. before applying anything. And that's gonna give you the look of eyeliner. See, already I added that depth. Then you can go in and apply your mascara. I really like to focus it on this outer lash, especially if you are someone who has hooded eyes and you cannot, for the life of you, use eyeliner. Really focus on the outer corner, and that will give you that look of a baby wing too. But press your eye or your mascara first onto the, like, underneath the lash line before you do anything else, and you'll get that look of a mascara or a eyeliner, sorry. Okay, and then I'm just lightly putting a little bit on my bottom lash. That's total preference. Okay, so same thing here. I'm just gonna put my mascara on. This is the one from Saint. I love this one. It's a tubing mascara, so it tubes your lashes and it will stay all day, which is great. Makes them look thicker. And then, after I have this done, we're doing this. I hate putting mascara on camera because it's like the worst thing to watch, but we're just doing it really fast. Okay. This is with eyeliner in between the lashes and a baby wing, very baby. And this is using my mascara as a liner. So there's two different ways. And then the last step, the last thing I'm gonna share, to bring it all together, go back into the powder that you used in the beginning, which is like a finishing powder. And you're going to pick it up on your clean brush that you did not use the entire time. And you're going to go on top of everything you just did and smooth out any harsh lines. And this will help set it in place. It will not move, and it will make it just look really cohesive and come together. And there you go. Hopefully this live helped a lot, giving you guys some good ideas on how to apply and deal with your loose, more textured skin on the lids. Like I said, I am going to put this on my profile page. You can go save it there, but I'm also gonna put it over on YouTube. YouTube is the same handle that I use on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And you can go join it there. That way you can fast forward, things like that. Give me a little bit of time to put that up. But hopefully that helps. And if you want any of the products that I used, you just have to comment yes, and it will send it to you. And if you want a free color match where I actually build you your own eyeshadow palette, I can also do that. So appreciate you guys. Hope this was helpful. I know it was long. Thanks for hanging with me. Bye.